What's going on, Gales? Welcome back to Harry Highlights. So, if you're new to WIUR Sports, I'm Harry Fisher, and this is Harry Highlights. So, this is the radio show that brings you coverage about sports going around Iona, New York, and the nation. We're going to be covering sports going on. We're going to be covering around the weekend sports review of sports going around Iona and all around the sports world. So for the next 30 minutes, we're so if you're new to WIUR, on this show, we're going to be covering everything that happened this past weekend in terms of Iona sports and all around the sports world, and even what's happening with New York sports teams right now. So let's get it going, shall we? So, as like we always do, we started off with baseball. So, let's start off with our baseball team. Baseball had an interesting weekend. Baseball traveled to Fairfield, Connecticut to take on the Fairfield Stags. So, Fairfield did take the first two games of the series, but in game three, Iona won a late come from behind win. In yesterday, they won 5-4 against the Fairfield Stacks thanks to a Nico Mora go-ahead home run. Nico Mora stepped in the eighth inning and delivered a go-ahead home run to put the Gales up 5-4, and the Gales got it done in the ninth, coming away with a 5-4 victory. So Fairfield ended up winning the first two games. They've won the first game 21-6, and then in game two, they won again, taking the first two games of the series. So all in all, Fairfield ended up winning the series, but yesterday was a huge win for the Gales. They rallied again, and Nico Mora once again delivered a clutch home run to give the Gales a win. And also, some huge news put this guy in the record books. Congratulations to Anthony Zolo, because Anthony Zolo recorded his 200th hit over the weekend against Fairfield. He now has 200 career hits in an Iona Gales uniform. So, Anthony Zolo, he's been one of the veteran players on this team. I believe he's a senior currently, one of the seniors on the team. So obviously a huge monumental stat line for him, recording his 200th hit as a Gale. So congratulations to you, Anthony, and we appreciate everything that you have done for the Iona Gales and all the impressive games that you have played and all the incredible moments that you have had in a Iona Gales uniform. So let's go over some top performers like we always do. So AJ Odin once again was a consistent hitter in game one and game two with two hits and two RBIs. Cole Sylvia, he showed a solid contact hitting and a lot of potential for future games. Brazier Mitchell, he hit a home run in game one and showed a lot of power at the plate. And then once again in game one, the Gales, even though it was neck and neck and Fairfield did end up winning, it was still an impressive win. It was still an impressive outing from, once again, Andre Elise Piams. We can't say enough of good things about this man. Andre Elise Piams once again took the mound again as he started in game one and struck out eight batters in 5 innings. So even though it wasn't the best game for the Gales on Friday, it was still a massive performance by Andre Elise Piams. And that's a good thing to look at it too. When even though when you're not playing your best baseball game and you're not playing your best baseball, you can still see some strong performances and some good signs from batting and from your pitching as well. So overall, the Gales, they're now 14-20 on the year. in the MAC standings, and as we get closer towards the MAC tournament, it'll be interesting to see what this team looks to do uh, ending the season. They have LaSalle coming up on Wednesday. They have the midweek game against LaSalle, and then they have some couple of, and they have uh, I think it's 2 or 3 other series that they have left at City Park. I think we still have to play Canisius at home, and we still have to finish off against Manhattan. And I think we have to still play. I think we have like a couple of midweek games left. Like I know we play Yale on the road coming up. I think that's right around the corner. But yeah, we still have some midweek games coming up, and we still have some home two or three home game series left. So a lot of damage to do that the Gales can do over these next couple of weeks. So let's transition it over to softball. So softball had an impressive had a packed weekend. They had senior day this weekend against the St. Peter's Peacocks. Iona took game one, but then lost game two. So they played a double header on Saturday. Uh, and then Iona took the first game, and then St. Peter's took the second game. So both teams were even throughout the day. So just taking a look at Iona softball's record, they're 17 and 18, right there, just one win away from the 500 mark. Um, they still have a couple of wins, so they're just right there. If they can just get over that 500 mark, then they can boost their way into the Iona softball into the softball max standings, excuse me. And overall in the MAC conference, they're above 500 already. They have 12 wins and 8 losses. So still, this Iona Gales team looks really good, and they're in very good position heading into the MAC tournament. So if they can just get a couple more wins, then they can boost their credentials heading into the MAC tournament, and then hopefully we will have a spring team playing in the NCAA tournament coming up pretty soon. So let's talk about some key performances. So some key takeaways for Iona softball is Brianna Fisher. Her batting average is 345, and she has 6 home runs. Rachel Morels, infielder, pitch, and hitter role. Her batting average is 313 and leads the team with 23 runs, and she has 4 home runs. Haley Guerrero, a utility player, batting average is 310 and has hit 5 home runs. Addie Smith, a defensive star on this scale squad, she has nearly perfect fielding percentage with no errors. She handles a lot of defensive chances safely. So looking ahead, Iona, the Iona Gales will be back in action this week. They will be playing against the Satan Hall Pirates on Tuesday, April 28th at 2 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. in South Orange, New Jersey. So another doubleheader for the Gales. So they look to continue their winning ways in the MAC, and they try to get over that 500 mark on Tuesday afternoon. Let's move it over to lacrosse, shall we? The Iona Gales played at home Saturday, April 18th. Their last game was against Quinnipiac. Um, that game was on SNY. We talked about that last week. So not really much to talk about the Iona Gales lacrosse team. We do have to recap the game that they played against. afterwards on April 22nd against Sacred Heart. They traveled to Sacred Heart University to Fairfield, Connecticut to take on the Sacred Heart Pioneers in their finale of the regular season. So, unfortunately, the Gales did end up losing, but still some top performances from sophomores Kennedy and Colin Lowry each recorded 2 points to lead the Gales offense. Uh, right now the right now the lacrosse the MAC tournament is pretty soon underway. So we will see where the Gales look to do what the Gales look to do with the MAC tournament coming up. You never know. We could have a Cinderella story, and everyone loves a Cinderella story. Never say never. And I think could we see a Cinderella story from the Iona Gales going all the way from the first round and winning the MAC championship? That would be incredible. And um, from what I'm seeing is even though they have lost a couple of close, tough games, they still have a lot of fight and they have a lot of guts as a team. So do not count them out for sure. And I would not be surprised if this team comes together at the right time in the postseason and starts playing their best lacrosse that they've ever played in their career. So never know. What if we have a Cinderella story in the spring and we have the Iona Gales playing at the end of this week? We have the Iona Gales playing in the MAC championship and having a spot in the NCAA tournament. You never know. You never know. If there's anything we've learned in college sports is Cinderella stories can happen from anywhere at any time. So we're going to go to break, and afterwards, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the professional sports team. So we got to talk about the Yankees and we got to talk about the Mets, and we do have to talk about the NFL draft. So I'm sure all of you tuned in on Thursday for Radiothon. What an excellent day that was. We had 16 shows, so many numerous hours of live stream content from our brilliant members here at WIUR and our brilliant students here at Iona University. And we had a special segment with the NFL draft. I believe we had 3 or 4 segments, but that was a phenomenal day, a historic day for WIUR radio, one of our main events that we love to have each semester for our students and for our university here. It will be coming back. It will be coming back. We're most likely going to do it in the fall. So if you missed it this spring, no worries. It will be back here in the fall and it'll be here before you know it. So after this commercial break, we will be back. So stay tuned.
Untouchable, unstoppable.
This is WIUR Sports Radio.
Hi, I'm Robbie Basil, president of WIUR Radio, and I hope you're enjoying today's show. Have you ever wanted to call the biggest games, the biggest moments for the biggest names for Iona athletics? Then the newly founded WIUR Sports Radio is the place to be. Launched in January of 2025, our goal is to try and get broadcasters here at Iona an opportunity to learn, succeed, and get a chance to be on air. From getting to call the big moments at the hack.
Dinkins trying to go to the rack. Denied! Denied! Yafet Mundi!
To seeing the crack of the bat at City Park.
The line drive into left field, around third, and it kicks away! The Gales are going to win it in 10!
We make those moments happen on our brand new WIUR Sports Radio platform on Mixer. If you're interested, feel free to reach out to me via email or to the rest of my e-board to join the club. We are WIUR Sports Radio, the new home of Iona Athletics. Now, back to the show on WIUR, Iona University Radio.
We are back after the intermission. So if you're new to WIUR, I'm Harry Fisher and this is Harry Highlights and this is the radio show that brings you a weekend coverage of sports going around here at Iona University and all around the sports world. So as I mentioned before we went to intermission, we got to talk about the professional sports teams. Let's start off with baseball. So let's start off with the New York Yankees. So the Yankees had an impressive weekend. They played the Houston Astros as the Yankees won the series. They won Friday and Saturday, but then dropped yesterday afternoon's game 7-4. But once again, the Yankees offensive firepower seems to be the story, and it seems like Judge, Jazz Chisholm, Trent Grisham, and all of these players that the Yankees held on to and kept really seems to be getting the job done and delivering in key moments. And I want to talk about let's talk about Judge for a second. So he had a slow start to the season, still coming off the World Baseball Classic, but now he's playing a lot better. His home run margin is over. He has over 10 home runs already in the season. He has like over 15 RBIs already. So he is trending in the right direction. And yesterday was his birthday. So shout out to you, Judge. Happy birthday from the captain of the New York Yankees. Tremendous baseball player, just a great person all around. And the Yankees right now, a lot is to be excited about the Yankees if you are a Yankees fan because this team is playing well and they have a good chance to win the American League East. Because they seem to be the team to beat in the AL East. But on the other side, we have to talk about the Mets. So the Mets unfortunately dropped 2 games against the Colorado Rockies. Um, no, what am I saying? They didn't just drop 2 games. The Rockies swept the Mets. Rockies won on Friday. Saturday's game got canceled due to the rain, but yesterday the Mets played a doubleheader against the Rockies, and the Rockies won both games. They won. Let's take a look at the store. Let's take a look at the score really quick. Let me just pull it up. Um, so the Rockies won 3-0 yesterday. Against the Mets, and just once again it was and once again the Mets they dropped 9-19 on the year, and the Rockies uh move up to 13-16 on the year. So the Rockies, huge series when they get the sweep over the Mets, and they're now 3 games below the 500 mark. But the Mets right now, what else are we gonna say about the Mets? I really am speechless about the Mets right now. I mean, the Mets just have so many problems with pitching and with hitting. They're dealing with injuries. Not a lot of good signs for the Mets, but the Mets there's still hope. As we always say, it's a 162 game season. I believe we're over 20 games into the baseball season. We're 20 games into the MLB. So there's still a lot of time for room. There's still a lot of time for room for improvement, but for the Mets, they got to figure it out because if they don't start winning games soon, then questions are going to be starting to come together. Questions are going to start being raised. Questions are going to start to rise about what Carlos Mendoza future is and what David Stearns his future and what a lot of these coaches and a lot of these front office members, a part of the Mets future is going to look like. We already saw what can happen if your team starts falling apart and your team doesn't start and your team is going into the wrong direction this past weekend with the Boston Red Sox, as the Red Sox fired Alex Cora. They fired their hitting coach, their bench coach, and uh they fired some of their front office members. The Red Sox did have a great weekend this week. They won their series against the Baltimore Orioles, but uh, that's what can happen when your team is heading in the wrong direction. Change can come fast, as we all know in sports. Um, so moving on, we got to talk about the Knicks really quick. So, major win on Saturday for the New York Knicks as they won against the Atlanta Hawks 114 to 98. Some strong performances by Carl Anthony Towns. He recorded a triple double. I think I mentioned last week that Carl Anthony Towns has to be a key. And he was in game 4. He really stepped up and delivered a triple double. And when I watched the Knicks play, they put the ball in his hands and he was all business. He was driving down the rim, he was getting offensive rebounds. He played with that physicality and that grit that the Knicks needed him to play to win a must win game. So, game 5 will be played tomorrow at 8 o'clock, and that will be the game that decides this series. Will the Knicks go back to Atlanta up 3-2, or will the Hawks go back home up 3-2? And then, really quickly, got to talk about let's recap really quickly about the NFL draft. So, some major moves by the Giants and the Jets. Jets had a pretty good draft class. They got Bailey, their pass rusher. They got Cade Klubnik, who in the second round, who will be their future quarterback behind Geno Smith. The Jets also had a great draft class with drafting two great offensive threats. They drafted um, they drafted Omar Cooper, a standout wide receiver from Indiana, and then they also drafted in the first round. Here, let me pull it up. I forget his name. They drafted a tight end that was really good. Kayon Sadiq, who was a great pick, 16th overall. In the Giants, they took Arvel Reese and they took Francis Manguia, out of Miami. So some great moves by both teams, and it'll be interesting to see what all these players will do. So we're running low on time. So thank you all so much for tuning in to Harry Highlights. This will be our final show because next week will be finals week, so we won't be here to do a radio show. So thank you all so much for tuning in all semester, and we will be back next year with more coverage and some more great episodes to come. So thank you all so much, and have a great day.